Good evening. If I can manage to get my microphone without destroying the entire desk. Uh-oh. Let's see. I think I succeeded. All right. Wow. Kind of a lot of craziness going on. Hang on, let me... Okay, sorry. I am administrator of a local page here on Facebook, so had something that somebody posted that I wasn't aware of who they were, and anyway, just had to check it out. No big deal. Let's see. Wow, news. Well, updates. I don't know really. I've got much updates for you. Had an incredible conversation with Ma'am Country Living today. And incredible conversation. Really thoroughly enjoyed it. I'll tell you, we talked about a ton of stuff. And I do believe we talked a little bit about the ordeal with the basketball player with the last name of Griner. And I'm trying to be as nice about this as I can and not step on toes. But I don't play the establishment's games. I'm not going to sit there and call a he a she or a she a he. I'm not going to sit there and tiptoe and dance around them. I'm not going to do it. The best I can do is not saying either or saying it. And I know nobody wants to be called an it, but that's the choices they've got. They can be called an it, or I will dance around their gender, because I am not going to support that. Just not. I don't have to. There is not a damn thing on this planet that says that I have to accept that, other than mankind, some of mankind. And well, that holds about as much weight as the air it took me to expel it. So I sit there and I think about this. Man, does it really... It gets under my skin, because it's not just that we gave them back the Merchant of Death. Right? This isn't just anybody. The Merchant of Death. That's bad enough. But what's even worse is Paul Whelan, a U.S. military member, is still over there. Yeah. Still over there. Amazing. I guess putting your life on the line for this nation is not as important as playing basketball and trying to smuggle drugs into a foreign country. I guess maybe I don't see it. I don't see how those scales weigh out that way. But hey, I'm just me. I have a hard time believing it. I really do. I'm not saying, don't get me wrong, I am not saying that we shouldn't have made any kind of an attempt to get him home. By him, I mean Griner. I'm not saying we shouldn't make any diplomatic attempt to get them home. Yeah, so they did something stupid. The last one that's going to call anybody out for weed's going to be this guy right here. It is what it is. Now, what do I think about pulling that stunt? I think it was awfully stupid. Right? That would be like going to court for a traffic ticket that you didn't have the money to pay with an ounce of weed down your pants. Probably not a good idea. Same as trying to take drugs into Russia. Alright? Darren will get a good laugh out of this. There's only one place as bad as taking weed to Russia, and that is Alabama. Yeah, they've got some pretty strict laws down there. I just don't get it. I don't get it. We do have some other notable things to mention. Oh, I do have updates. Staring me right in the face. Yep. And by the way, I know the A in the second, well, actually the last one on the screen, the A is missing a piece. I'm aware. Anyway, these are just a couple of the decals I did up today. I got one here. You can't see it because it's white, and it screwed up anyway. So let me get a good one, and I'm going to change it. It says Watchman Militia, but I'm going to change it because you're not mine. You're the Father's. And so it needs to be changed appropriately to Yahweh's Militia. And it's Militia with a Y. So that will hopefully be on the website within the next week. I'll have these decals. I'll have more decals. And as soon as we can start selling some decals, like as soon as we sell the first 2-3 decals, then that will give us the funds we need to get more envelopes, and I'll be able to expand what it is I do, the size of what I do, and stuff like that. So at first, the limitation is going to be on whatever I can get into a 6x9 envelope, because that's what we have right now. And like when it comes to those decals there, I can't remember just off the top of my head how long they are. Somewhere around 15 inches, I think, if I'm not mistaken, wide. They're like something like 15 inches wide. So like these, I can actually fold. So I can get them all ready to go, get the masking on them and everything, and actually fold them and then put them into the envelope and send them. So I'll be able to do ones like this from the get-go and all of that. So just kind of, I'll keep you guys informed on it as I come along on it. It won't take long, and it won't take long to get up an inventory of different stuff. So that, I don't know if I said anything or not. Probably did, but not certain. When our neighbors moved, they had a bunch of stuff they left. And I know I told you about the barbecue grill. It's up there. I mean, you can't really see it very well, but a Brinkman, I mean, like a really expensive barbecue grill. When they were new, it was one of those grills that was like $2,000 plus for the grill. I mean, it's just insane nice grill. Left it. I mean, things in great shape. They just left it. So I wheeled that bad boy over here. And they also had a keyboard out there. And it's one that's got, it's a very base level of like drums and stuff. Well, I wanted something like that because I just want to toy around sometime. I play a little bit of guitar. I used to play a lot of guitar, but, I can't play much anymore because of arthritis. But, I just like to tinker once in a while. And, yeah, I would like something that I could do a little drum tracks to. And I know there's tons of computer programs I could use. It was there. It was free. It was mine. Well, what also came with it was the accompanying keyboard stand, which is, I love it. It's plastic, blow molded plastic, but it snaps together, and you can unsnap it, store it nice and flat, and then when you need it, snap it back together, and well, ideally put the keyboard on it. But it works wonderful for my vinyl cutter. I do have my vinyl cutter stand, but it's way back in all that stuff that I showed you where the EcoFlows are and all that stuff. It's buried back in there. Well, it's not that hard for me to get the vinyl cutter out, but it would be a nightmare to get the stand out. So I knew that when I set that all up over there. I was aware of that, and that's why I made sure that I kept the keyboard stand handy, because the moment I saw the keyboard stand, I thought vinyl cutter. So anyway, so that'll be coming along. Other than that, I don't know. Sunday we'll be back here on the backup channel. Monday, to my knowledge, Monday will be the day we get to go home. So it is what it is. But let me go ahead and get started after a sip of coffee. Good stuff. It might just be the rest of the show me drinking coffee. I don't know why, but man, I must have got everything just right that time. Kind of rare. Let's see. This, though, is the first thing that I really wanted to talk about as far as things I had open. Y'all know, and this article's from December 1st. I just found it today. So, y'all know I talk about pole shift. And there's a lot of people that like to deny it. There's a lot of people that just simply don't understand. A lot of people just brush it off. This is serious. When airports have to make runway changes, okay, the runway is numbered for the heading, right? So if it's runway 30, it's going to be a heading of 300, okay? If it's runway 3, it's going to be a heading of 30 degrees, okay? You put a 0 behind it. So if it's runway 24, it's going to be 240 degrees, okay? That's how they number runways. The runway is numbered for the magnetic direction that it is. So when a runway has to change runway numbers, that means the magnetic pole shift, because I'm pretty sure the airport didn't shift, but the magnetic pole shift. And this is happening on an increasingly fast pace that airports are having to do this. Suspicious Observers has just covered this over the last couple of days, I believe it was. He has just covered this, talking specifically about runways and their numbers and all of that. And he does a much better job of explaining why, okay, for instance, they're not changing here as quickly, even though I know I'm showing you an article that talks about Reno. Actually, in the United States, they're not changing as quickly as they are like over in Europe. And that's because of their position to the direction of the pole shifting, okay? We're kind of almost straight on it as it, let me come back up here. Find something that's not a pinch hitter to use as a model. Here we go. Use one of these. You know what those are, don't you? Yeah, well, anyway, so that's a straight line. Imagine if the pole was going right along that line and we were here, okay? The pole's going right along that line. So we're going to see a very little difference in how much it moves, right? Well, if you imagine Europe, it's a very bad example, but Europe here, as the pole's moving, they're going to show a much faster rate of change than what we will, as far as a compass tells them. So anyway, I just wanted to explain that. Ben does a million times better job than I do at explaining it. But this is real, and this is happening, and it's not just stuff that Ben and I talk about. This is for real. And it's coming in our lifetimes. Says here, the world is shifting, literally. The Earth's magnetic field shifted magnetic north. It's always moving. Over the decades, magnetic north moved enough that the manual compasses have to be recalibrated, paper maps may be outdated, and airport runways have to be renamed. Well, renumbered. The Earth moves, and as the molten core shifts, you can shift a little bit for pilot safety. Because it's always all about safety, you have to change those runway designations, said Brian Colpin with the Reno Tahoe Airport Authority. Runway 1634 right is now 1735 right. The 16 painted on the runway was repainted a couple of weeks ago to 16R. The numbers identify runways but also tell pilots the magnetic heading of the runway, how many degrees off magnetic north. Pilot Jonathan Hartness said electronic cockpits are updated automatically. It's a very easy change. It's almost seamless for those with glass cockpits with a lot of avionics electronics, he said. Airports across the country are changing their runways. Hartness said he saw Florida update their runways a couple of weeks ago. 4.3 million people a year fly through Reno's airport. Pilots fly 150 flights a day from the airport. They're all using these runways, so for safety, you have to have the right designation. It helps all those aircraft line up and be controlled. I think they repeated themselves by the air traffic control tower, Copeland said. Changes most people won't even know about, but important to keep people safe. Absolutely. And like I say, it's just, okay, so the poll, and I've always shown people this over the years, because, I mean, I'm going to send you to the best place I know to find any information. And when it comes to the poll shift, without a doubt, I never did bring you back, without a doubt, magneticreversal.org is a place where you can send somebody, and it's got everything you need to know as far as what's going on right there. And I don't know why his page is loading so slow. I don't know if something's up with our internet or if it's his website, but I was hoping it would load. What I was going to show you essentially is, yeah, it is normal for the polls to dance around. There's a particular area where the polls have always kind of just danced around, but they didn't leave that area, just danced around one area. That's not the case now, and they're not telling you that. That is upsetting to me that they're not telling you that. Yes, here we go. This is the video right here. As long as it loads. Here it goes. And the blue one's going to be the obvious one. You see, the poll always kind of just goes around like that. That's nothing new. But watch what happens. Now it's just going to shoot and go. Okay, that's what's going on with the polls. Both polls are shooting in one direction. There is no dancing around an area anymore. That is why the runway designators are being changed. The North and the South Pole show no sign that they're going to stop traveling in the direction that they are currently going. No sign whatsoever of it. And, based on scientific evidence, we know that these pole shifts happen. We have a rough idea of some of the things the Earth goes through. Ben Davison, again, Suspicious Observers, does an incredible job about covering this stuff. And I highly recommend that you listen to him. Even when he's talking about the things that you're going to need for those, I don't know, I don't want to say end days, but that's pretty much what it is. He knows what he's talking about. Believe me, I went down this road before I even knew Ben existed. And came up with the same conclusions as him. Not as detailed as him, but I had the rough sketch. And just watch his stuff. I don't want to give the advice because there's so much information you need to understand and take in, and I'm not in any way prepared to something like that. I want notes. Something like that, I want to be able to make sure that I don't miss things. That's why I recommend you go in there and watching his content. He's recently been talking about it quite a bit. So, I mean, he's been talking about a lot. During the day, he's been doing Q&A videos. And that's where you'll find a lot of this information is the Q&A videos. But also some days, some mornings in his normal morning report, he might have an update on pole shift or something related. So anyway, it's just one of the, to me, this is the elephant in the room. And I know we got a lot of stuff going on in the world. A lot of stuff going on domestically, internationally, economically. I mean, you name it, it's going on. But we best not take an eye off that elephant, because it'll stomp us. Guaranteed. Let's go. Let's continue on. So, I'm not the only cat that's upset about what happened today. There's a lot of people that are upset about what happened today. This would be Bolton. And this here says former U.S. National Security Advisor John Bolton has, and I'm not a fan of his, don't like him a bit anyway, has denounced Thursday's high-level prisoner swap with Russia, saying it was a sign of weakness that emboldens terrorists and rogue states. I would agree. The bout for Griner prisoner swap is not a trade, it's an American surrender. This is not what American strength looks like. Terrorists and rogue states are smiling, Bolton said on Twitter. Absolutely correct. I could not agree with him more. And like I say, I don't like the guy a bit. Doesn't mean he's always wrong. A Russian national Viktor Bout, sentenced in the U.S. to 25 years on arms smuggling charges, was exchanged for basketball star, it says her name, Brittany Griner, who was sentenced in August to 9 years in a Russian penal colony for drug trafficking. The trade took place in the United Arab Emirates. The U.S. and Russia pardoned both of them before the swap, which was mediated by the UAE and Saudi Arabia, according to the joint statement released by two Gulf states on Thursday. While Bolton did not elaborate on why he considered the swap a surrender, most of the criticism directed at President Joe Biden has involved the fact that he picked WNBA's Griner over Paul Whelan, a retired U.S. Marine convicted of espionage in 2020 and sentenced to 16 years. The U.S. considers charges against Whelan totally illegitimate. White House Press Secretary Karine Jean-Pierre, I don't know how you say her name, told reporters on Thursday afternoon, but said the choice ended up being to either bring Brittany home or no one. Biden will never stop working to secure Whelan's release, she added. Bring Brittany home or no one. Really? You know, a lot of this is just bullshit anyway. And these leaders know this. Do I think that Vladimir Putin was ready to put Griner behind bars for 16 years for having... No, I don't. I really don't. I believe at the very most he might have left her in there for a couple of years before he cut her loose, and that's if there was no deals made. But I don't think that he's got an interest in that. It doesn't make sense. It's not logical. It's not like she's some kind of an asset. It's not like the women's basketball world will never be the same. Honestly, it didn't much matter. Which is why I find it appalling that Biden chose Griner over Whelan. You know, it's not even close. You've got one guy that's arms smuggling, right? Even gets the nickname Merchant of Death. And you trade for somebody that had a frickin' THC vape cartridge on him? How about Paul Whelan, who was charged with a much more serious crime and has put his life on the line for this nation? Nope. Gotta go with the basketball player, yo. You know, I have called out the United States many, many times when they were poking at Russia. Even before Russia invaded Ukraine. The sad thing is how weak our nation looks from all angles. I don't know. Let me continue on this road so we can get off this road, because I don't like this road. Trump, and normally I don't care what the hell he's got to say either, but Trump fumes over embarrassment for U.S. trading a high-profile prisoner for a basketball player while leaving a Marine in a Russian prison is an embarrassing and stupid deal, former U.S. President Donald Trump said on Thursday, as the ruling Democrats praised the swap as a triumph for black and LGBT Americans. Right, because she was held because she was black or LGBT? How was that a triumph then? Oh, I guess it wasn't, was it? What kind of a deal is it to swap Brittany Griner, a basketball player who openly hates our country, for the man known as the Merchant of Death, who is one of the biggest arms dealers anywhere in the world and responsible for tens of thousands of deaths and horrific injuries, Trump said in a post on his website, Truth Social. Why wasn't former Marine Paul Whelan included in this totally one-sided transaction? He would have been let out for asking. What a stupid and unpatriotic embarrassment for the USA, the 45th president added. Russian national Viktor Bout was seized by U.S. agents in Thailand in 2008 and convicted in 2012 of weapons trafficking. Griner was arrested at a Moscow airport in early February and sentenced in August for drug trafficking. Both were pardoned ahead of the exchange, which took place in the United Arab Emirates on Thursday. A video of the exchange was made on the tarmac of Dubai, was published on Thursday evening with the faces of the participating U.S. and Russian officials blurred out for privacy. I mean, it's ridiculous. It is truly, truly ridiculous. Wow. Okay, got a headline that just came in. It's not like something breaking. I need to go to cover it real quick, but we'll get to it. Maybe if I can get it up there. I know, that's what she said. So, anyway, I think it was an absolutely one-sided transaction. And I think that Paul Whelan should have been number one on the list. And if they could have haggled Griner along with Whelan, okay then. But otherwise, I would say, well, then Griner is just going to have to be traded for the next horrible terrorists that we decide to give back to him. I mean, I'm sure Biden's not done yet. Frickin' crazy. Anyway, I gotta have a vape. Or lose my mind, or both. This is not the country that I remember. And I know you're all saying, yeah, pretty brilliant there, Captain Obvious. I mean, you could tell by the title of this show, right? I remember that. And I wrote on Facebook, you know, I remember one of the very first news events that I can recall as a child was the Iran hostage crisis. And it's not like I remember it in a lot of detail, but I do remember it, and I do remember hearing Ronald Reagan speak right after, I believe it was, that he gave the go-ahead on the mission to go take care of it. And he made the statement somewhere in one of his speeches, and I know he wasn't the first one to say it, but he said, we don't negotiate with terrorists. And so the entire time I think about this nonsense that happened today, I can't help but think or hear Ronald Reagan in my head saying, we don't negotiate with terrorists. I heard the same thing. Yeah, I know, the ghost of Ronald Reagan, right? I heard the same thing back during the cluster that they called an evacuation or a pullout of the desert. And oh no, we're just going to give this stuff to the, we're going to let them have it. Got to let them have it. What time you say you want our troops up and out? All righty. Thank you, sir. Thank you, Taliban, Al-Qaeda, whoever you're being called this week. Unbelievable. I thought this was a pretty important revelation. I've got some other good stuff here yet, so. Google told to remove inaccurate information. Google must remove personal data from its search results if users are able to prove it is incorrect, the Court of Justice on the European Union ruled on Thursday. The case before the court related to two business executives who asked the search giant to remove results linking their names to articles criticizing their company's investment model. They also requested the removal of the thumbnail photos from search results. The operator of a search engine must dereference information found in the reference content where the person requesting dereferencing proves that such information is manifestly inaccurate, the court said. Previously, Google had refused to remove the information, arguing that it did not know if it was accurate. The court said proof does not need to come from a judicial decision, and users only need to provide evidence that they can reasonably be required to produce. The issue has created a clash between free speech advocates and privacy rights groups who are debating where the balance should lie between the right to be forgotten and the right to freedom of information online. I think that's an easy line to draw, right? If you're talking about information involving companies or government, then you absolutely should have freedom of information. However, when it comes to private individuals, you should not. Period. We should not have the capability to go pay a few bucks and go look up anybody's name online. We should not. I know that's going to rub a lot of people the wrong way. We shouldn't have that capability. Not even remotely. Since 2014, we've worked hard to implement the right to be forgotten in Europe and to strike a sensible balance between people's rights of access to information and privacy, a Google spokesperson said on Thursday. Further EU privacy rules were implemented in 2018, stating that the right to be forgotten can be excluded where the processing of personal information is needed for the exercise of the right to information. In 2020, Google was fined €600,000 or $630,810 by Belgium's Data Protection Authority for not complying with the right to be forgotten rule after it failed to remove links from search results, which the agency said were obsolete and damaging to a high-profile person. So, but I don't think it's going to really do much, to be honest. Big Tech runs a lot more of this show than a lot of people think. Big Tech, if anybody has the ability to turn anything upside down or do whatever with the people as they wish, it would be Big Tech. It would be Big Tech. And they are not beyond doing any of that. Look at all the different experiments that Facebook has ran on us. It's insane. Okay. This is nuts. Ukrainians desecrate DPR flag at U.S. Congress. This political grandstanding should not have been allowed to go on. It's insane. I mean, here.
Is especially good for polishing shoes and things like that. So
that figures.
We're just gonna. We don't have to put it in any particular order, but we'll stand here. So yes, we see if you can get it all in there, and I'll try to lift it up some. And
a photo shoot of them desecrating the flag of another nation. That's probably not something our lawmakers should be involved in doing. Just my thoughts. I could be wrong on that, but I'm pretty sure that that's not something our lawmakers should be doing or entertaining or promoting or any of the above. Again, this is not the same country that I remember. Not even remotely. It's a country of it's Babylon. Let's just pull all the sugar coating off of it. It's Babylon. It's insane. Egypt joins BRICS Bank, says an official. Egypt has officially become a member of the New Development Bank, or NDB, of the BRICS group of major emerging economies, the country's government announced on Wednesday. Now, I'm not going to go read the whole article or anything, but this is something that we need to really keep an eye on because BRICS is expanding, and if you don't know what BRICS is, it's kind of the equivalent to what SWIFT. Is it SWIFT? Yeah, I think it's SWIFT. The payment, more or less the payment gateway that the United States and pretty much the world is in. So there was a alternative created called BRICS, and it's Brazil, Russia, India, something in Spain. I can't remember the C, but anyway, I think there's actually, it's right in front of me, Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa. Sorry, I had it wrong. But they're expanding, and they're going to continue to expand and expand and expand. And I do believe that BRICS will wind up as big as SWIFT, if not bigger. So we'll see, but not looking good. The U.S. dollar's done. I mean, you don't get any more well done than that. It's burnt. Right now, all they're doing is making it look good. And to be honest, they've been making it look good for a long damn time. I can tell you since 2008 for a fact. But it's been since a lot longer than that. So just keep an eye on this stuff. I think you're going to see a lot of other nations tag on real quick. I think a large part of that is going to be the sanctions on Russian energy. Because many of the countries over there are now starting to backpedal a little bit. Now they're just starting to get cold and they don't have any other options. So there's a lot of them that's kind of starting to backpedal now. We'll see what happens. I don't really have a lot of faith, to be real honest. Oops. Let me get that the right size again. And I've got one more tab open. And this one came in as I was already started the show. You guys probably already know about this. I know that there's been other releases, but I haven't been trying to keep up. Twitter's secret blacklist exposed. Twitter has created a series of barriers and tools for moderators to prevent specific tweets and entire topics from trending or limit the visibility of entire accounts, according to internal correspondence and interviews with multiple high-level sources within the company. Despite repeated public assurances by top Twitter officials that the company does not shadow ban users, especially not based on political viewpoints or ideology, the practice actually existed under the euphemism of visibility filtering, according to journalist Barry Weiss, who published the second installment of the so-called Twitter files in a lengthy thread on Thursday night. Think about visibility filtering as being a way for us to suppress what people see to different levels. It's a very powerful tool, one senior Twitter employee said, while another admitted that normal people do not know how much we do. Twitter moderators have the power to add the user to categories such as Trends Blacklist or Search Blacklist and Do Not Amplify to limit the scope of a particular tweet or entire account's discoverability, all without the user's knowledge or any warning. Weiss noted that the tools were even used to limit the reach of academics, including Stanford University's Dr. I can't say that name, who courted controversy after challenging the effectiveness of COVID-19 lockdowns and other pandemic mandates. He ended up on Twitter's Trends Blacklist, keeping his post out of the site's trending section, the documents show. However, above the common moderators was another secret group that handled issues concerning high follower or controversial and other notable users, known as Site Integrity Policy or Policy Escalation Support. The team included high-level executives such as former head of Legal Policy and Trust, Vijay Gade, I don't know how to say her name, and the global head of Trust and Safety, Yoel Roth, and CEOs Jack Dorsey and Parag Agrawal. So, I'm telling you, I think there's more to come on this. I don't really know. I think the motive behind letting you know this and making this public is to get you to trust Elon. That's what I think they are trying to do. They are trying to get people to trust Elon. Then they're going to pull a bait and switch, just like they did with a particular president. Oh yeah, a lot of people still haven't figured out that was a bait and switch. Oh, well. Anyway, man. And I know that it's this bad all across the board. Facebook, all of them. I don't participate on the majority of them. It's YouTube and Facebook for me. I mean, Twitter. But all I do is tweet news out on Twitter. I don't spend any time reading it. I tweet links. That's it. To me, it looks like a cesspool of, I don't know, crap. To be real honest, I want a little bit more than a very, very limited amount of characters. I need more input than just a little short paragraph. And I do believe, backed up by medical science, that by involving oneself with a bunch of short, quick little things, whether it be short videos or whether it be little tweets, whether it be text messaging, what they are doing is shortening your thought process. And it's not by accident. The shorter that they can get your thought process, guess what? The more emotional, the more confused, and the more uneducated, to be quite honest, you'll be. They know exactly how to make people good little slaves. And that's what they're doing. That's exactly what they're doing. That's why it's important, and that's why it was pointed out in the scripture how Yeshua, pardon me, I didn't mean to half spit, how Yeshua refused to join any of them. The Jews begged him to be their leader, and he said no, he wouldn't do it. There's a lesson in there for us. A very valuable and important lesson in there. We aren't supposed to be party to groups like that. Not if you want to please him. It is what it is. And it's kind of hard to participate in that kind of stuff and not start making idols. So, anyway, it's not Sunday class, and I would suck at that anyway. I have no nice way to discuss the word. There's no softening it for me. Says what it says. I can't change that, and I'm not going to try. Okay. I reckon we can do some headlines. And since it's the last day of the week, when we finish up, we can all run around the house screaming with our arms flailing in the air. The end is nigh. And you got to say nigh, not near, because you got to make them think that you're completely lost it. And if you're, you say the word near, you got to use nigh. It has the proper effect. Let's see. Ukraine reveals origin of blood-soaked packages. They're claiming that they came from Europe. They got a bunch of blood-soaked packages. Apparently it was anything from animals' eyeballs to the entrails. I know, nice, visible, mental thought, right? And anyway, they claim that they came from Germany. So, migrants force emergency landing. AUKUS military chiefs discuss nuclear sub-plan. Chinese taking advantage of Western exodus from Russia, says an economist. A restoring energy system is impossible, says Zelensky. Pardon me. Russian coal exports surge, says Bloomberg. Imagine that. I hope we're buying some of their coal too, because, we sure can't mine it. Egypt joins BRICS bank. Oh, read that one. Merkel has admitted deception over Minsk peace deal, says Russia. This is also another thing that we might want to keep an eye on, and it's going to pop back up in the news before we're done. China and Saudi Arabia deepen energy ties. Russia repels drone attack on key Crimean port. It was kind of a busy news day, to be honest. Nothing other than the Griner thing, Let's see. Japan forecasts to slide into recession. EU nation may take anti-Russia sanctions hostage, says Financial Times. West blames Turkey for oil shipment delays, says Financial Times. U.S. trying to make Ukraine conflict last for years, says Russia. Kremlin explains when Ukraine conflict may end. Texas issues TikTok ban. I covered that. U.S. and Russia swap high-profile prisoners. We talked about that. Member states press EU to ease Russia sanctions, says Financial Times. Russian lawmakers greenlight surrogacy. I know I can't say it. Surrogacy ban for foreigners. Surrogacy or surrogacy? I'd say I don't even know which way I'm supposed to say it. If it's like Sarah or Sura. I don't know. Doesn't matter. Google told to... I covered that. Kremlin comments on the fate of Russian lands occupied by Kiev. Surrogate. It's surrogate, damn it. I've heard it.
Here are the top search results.
Did you hear that? I don't know if you could have heard that, but I said surrogate. It's surrogate. And my phone said, these are the top search results. And the articles that pulled up was article by Vladimir Putin on the historical unity of Russians and Ukrainians. Russia-Ukraine war updates for September 20th, 2022. My country, right or wrong, Russian public opinion on Ukraine. I mean, how did that even happen? My phone is trying to be my surrogate. That's what it is. No, I don't want to disconnect from the show. Not yet. Yeah, I don't know what the hell just happened there, but you need to stop listening to me, Googles. All right. Where were we? Kremlin comments on fate of Russian lands occupied by Kiev. Not sure if I said that one. Almost 100 foreign fighters killed in Ukraine, says Russia. EU lacks critical defense capabilities, says Burrell. Rosneft blames German asset seizure for profit hit. U.S. accuses former Ukrainian MP of money laundering. Merkel's confession, this is the other headline to the one I was talking about. Merkel's confession may be grounds for tribunal, says Moscow. So again, keep your eye on that. That might turn into something a little more festering other than the bowl that is her face. But anyway, moving on. More details emerged in Germany Reich coup plot. Moscow shrugs off impact of oil sanctions. Norway sanctions Russian oil. American instructor reveals details of Ukraine battle. Austria blocks 2 EU nations' bids to join, is it Shenzhen zone? I think I said that wrong. China eyes expanding its new space station. I heard they're going to put in a whole big section for Uranus. I heard it. Bolton declares, I read that article. Well, kind of read it. Illegal migrants kept in cage by EU state, says media. A U.S. spy avoids jail in death of UK teen. Special police occupy Kosovo City, says Serbia. Trump, I covered that. EU state faces criticism for unexpected gift to Kremlin. And that would be it. Those would be the headlines. Quite a few, honestly. Quite a few. I have a feeling we might be heading in for a busy weekend. I don't know. Just got that feeling. So, keep the heads on a swivel. Make sure you got your EDC with you at all times. I mean that. Hey, I don't go anywhere. I still carry my EDC. I don't even go anywhere. Right? But I can reach right down. I can grab my keys. My keys have a ferro rod and a striker. Okay? Anything else on my keys? No, not really, other than keys. But, right here. Yeah, let me come up. That's my, my folder that I carry in my pocket. My BC Blades dinner skinner. My Leatherman Super Tool 300. I'm not kidding. This is a wick lighter similar to like a Zippo. It's actually a Maritac lighter, a Peanut XL. It's a lighter though. Essentially, it's like a Zippo lighter, but different. And then this is a tank that holds, lighter fluid. It's a tank of lighter fluid. And on all this mess here, not only do I have a tool to help undo the screw, but I also have an extra flint. There's also extra flint in the bottom of it. And, fingernail clippers. There you go. I know I don't have any med stuff there. I don't walk around with a tourniquet hanging off my side. But I got everything else covered. Well, for the most part. Again, I don't have all the C's. I don't have cover. I don't have, you know what I'm saying. But, I'm in my house, yo. So, but I do. It stays on me at all times. Absolutely. Tell you guys I practice what I preach, and I mean it. A lot of people will just tell you that. No, I mean it. And anytime you want, you call me out. I'll show you. I'm not talking just about my, EDC. On anything. News, anything I cover. You see something wrong? You see something that you question? As far as things that I say, things I cover? Absolutely. I'm not like other channels. I want you to call me out because what's important to me is the truth. It's not an ego trip. It's not a pride thing. That's where a lot of these channels, they miss the mark. For me. I mean, if they're for you, that's good. But when I see a bunch of ego and pride, when I see a lack of an ability to humble oneself and to admit when somebody's wrong, that's not a leader. It's not even a strong person. They're fake. What you see is fake. What you see is a put on. Because those people that are secure, not only in their beliefs, but also in their belief, they won't have a problem with you telling it. They want to teach you. I want to teach you. I don't want you to just go out and buy this product or go out and buy that product. No, that's not teaching you nothing except consumerism. That's not going to help anybody. I'm appalled at what I've seen from the prepping community. I really am. Not everyone, but the amount of fear-mongering, the amount of gear whoring, just, it's insanity. And the case I pointed out before, and I'll point out again, is all of a sudden when these medical companies came around, like the Jace case thing, and there's another one, Contingency Medical or something, I don't know. And I'm not knocking the companies. I have no doubt that they're good companies. I'm not questioning that. But the very same people that would encourage you to go get antibiotics for your fish, just in case they get sick after SHTF, somebody's got to look out for the fish. All of a sudden, wasn't good enough anymore. All of a sudden, it's like, well, this comes from a real doctor. Oh, so you mean now the actual product doesn't come from the same lab? Did that change? No? So what's the difference again? Oh, I can pay another middleman to get the same product that I could order direct myself. Got it. Because that's the reality of it. If an EMP happens, you're not going to be calling these cats up saying, hey, I think my boo-boo's getting infected. Which antibiotic do I use? Nah. I'm pretty sure you better have it written down somewhere. I mean, whatever. If you feel more secure with buying something like that because it comes neat, nice, in a little package with a bow and instructions that you could go look up for free, go for it. But I really do think that we'd be much better served, as well as each other be better served, and the Father, if we knocked off the consumerism and the gear whoring and the profiteering, and we focused on helping people. Two different things. Yeah, you clearly have to buy stuff. You clearly have to put into it. There's no two ways about it. There's no doubt about it. But almost in every instance that I've found when it comes to preparedness, I've been able to find a cheaper option that was just as good, if not better, than the big fancy name. And there's only a couple of places I have not. And I'm very clear, open, and honest with that. When it comes to a multi-tool, sorry, Leatherman. I can't do any better than that. I can't. Drones. Just go DJI. Because otherwise you're going to be wasting money. DJI is the way to go. And, if you can afford the Autel stuff and all, that's fine. It's just more expensive. There's just a handful of things that you really do need to kind of stick with the brand name because they make a much, much better product. So, I think that's where we would all be better served and better servers if we focused on it instead of, oh no, you got to have this brand because of the commission I'm going to get. or so the company will send me more free ones. I'm not going to turn my nose up at anybody that is going to take a free $1,000 or more box. I'd do it, right? I wouldn't come here and lie to you. That's for damn sure. I wouldn't take on a product to review, on that basis that they sent it to me, because nobody sent me anything to show you. Tracy's helped us out, but as far as like companies like EcoFlow, they haven't sent us anything, or, well, not that I can talk about. However, they haven't sent us power stations that I can talk about. They didn't send those to us. Nicely, Tracy donated and helped us out, and we were able to get them. But I'm not going to accept something like that free. Okay, let's take the item I'm beta testing, and I can't tell you what it is. I can't tell you any details or anything like that. But I am a beta tester. Now, that's not the same thing as one of these YouTube influencers that get a free product to make videos on and promote to try to get you to buy. No, this is long before that stage. This is the actual beta test before the product even hits the market. And so that is what I'm involved in right now. And the companies, as far as I will even remotely go about talking about it, other than I will say this. Because it is early on, they clearly have bugs and issues to iron out. Not a big deal. And really what it's concerning, and I can't go into detail, but what it's concerning is really, really not a big deal. And I can guarantee you will be fixed with an update. Probably the very, first update. We've not gotten an update. And that issue will probably be good to go. However, if I was part of the, whatever you want to call it, when they send it to influencers to do reviews on it and try to promote the product, I couldn't give you, as it stands right now, I couldn't even give you a solid 1 out of 10. Because, and I have to be careful, because I cannot let out whatsoever what it is. And you'd never guess it in a million years. Well, with the issue that I am experiencing, it makes the product absolutely 100% useless. I can say that without letting on anything. And I would be honest, if I was in the position to where I was here to do a review on the product and either give it a yay or a nay and either promote it or not promote it to you, I would be honest with you about it. Plain and simple. So, just do your best, focus on what you can. If you're finding you're having a hard time with being able to continue or further your journey in preparedness because of financial reasons or something like that. If there's stuff that you need to take care of, there's stuff that you need. Please reach. People hardly ever use the comments, and I don't really recommend you commenting here on the backup channel. But once we get back home, by all means, please use that comment section. I will reply if I can help. I will absolutely do my best to help. There's a lot of times that I can find alternative ways, alternative methods, or alternative resources to help somebody out. In fact, I'll give you an example real quick before I close out. I was telling Ma'am Country Living this earlier when I was talking to him. So we have a friend that I've been trying to get to start prepping for a while. Been trying to get her to start putting food back, and not getting anywhere with nothing on it. And I can't do nothing about it. All I can do is keep giving the warnings. That's as far as I can go. Well, she was here the other day, and she mentioned that she needed to get something for weight for her Suburban, the back of her Suburban. And it just clicked right in my head. It didn't take a millisecond to click in my head. I said, okay. I said, so start buying you bags of rice. $9 a bag, 20 pounds a piece. Buy up to, build yourself up a couple of 100 pounds of rice. And there you go. That takes 10 bags. 10 bags, you're going to have 200 pounds of rice. Not only does she have 200 pounds of weight over the rear wheels of her Suburban, but she's also got 200 pounds of rice. Whether she'll do it or not, I certainly won't be holding my breath, I'll tell you that. But, that was just one example of an alternative method to where you could make things work, not only multi-purpose, but also further that journey into preparedness, as well as try keeping your vehicles from sliding off the road. So, if I can help, if any of the other viewers can help, then please let us. I'm not trying to sell you a bunch of crap. I'm not trying to feed you with I'm some magical great person, because I'm a piece of crap. The Father is amazing, and through him, I am an okay person. I am manageable. Maybe. Somewhat. He might argue that. But it's okay. There's been lots of bouts of kicking and screaming as he's dragged me along, but it's all good. We're here. I am going to get off of here. God willing, I'll see you all on Sunday night. I appreciate you coming. Remember, Sunday we'll be back here on the backup channel. Hopefully Monday we can go home. And God willing, I'll see you Sunday night. As always, God bless you. We love you. Be one with your spirit. And shalom.